So with the last video, I'm done with the new features which I wanted to show. So those are the most frequently used features in 7.4. There are some more which you should be knowing, but you can self-study those. So I'll put them in the end of the course. What are those? But for a real project, whatever we discussed is enough. So there are also some nuisances of using this new 7.4. For example, we need to be very careful while reusing the inline declared variables. So SAP suggests that we should treat inline variable as local variables. So you should not use it, you should not reuse it. But if in case you want to reuse it, you need to be very careful. So let me show you an example. So in this case, we are trying to select a literal valid underscore plant and put it into a local inline declared variable. So if data is found for the plant we are trying to run for, then it will write as valid plant here, and if it doesn't find, then we should write it as valid plant is not, or plant is invalid. So let's test it. For the positive test, I'll not enter anything, so we'll get valid plant, okay, because there is a blank one, or it does a select option, so it pulls something and gives a valid plant. So let me try to do a negative test. So I'll give some random values. I know which this plant doesn't exist in system, and then execute. So plant is in, but what was the output expected? It should have been plant is invalid, but what did we get? We got plant is in. So where did the valid go? So after some research, I found that this VALID, which is 5, then a space 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this LV valid is created with a variable of character 11, but this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 11, but 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, this is not available. So therefore, if you are trying to use the variable, always see that this variable is greater than the length of the variable is greater than what you are planning to use in subsequent. So as for SAP, we should not be using this in the same variable. We should be having this as LV valid 2 equal to plant is invalid. Okay. So while you are trying to reuse the inline declared variable, be very careful. The second point which I wanted to show is that if you want to do a calculation on the date, so side item plus 2, it will give 2 days ahead, or side item minus 365, it will give you 1 year back data. But if you do not explicitly declare a date field, and then you want to use an inline declared variable, so you might be getting a wrong output. Let me show you how. So we have a date variable declared, which is explicitly declared as side item. So if you do date equal to side item minus 2, then it will give 2 days ahead data. But say you do inline declaration of the date, where you said inline declaration of side item minus 2, you put it here in this inline declared variable, and now we want to see what this stores. So let's activate and execute F8, and then we come to the output. Look at the output. So the correct data which we had explicitly defined, it gave us the right data. Since today is 28, it gave me 26. But for the inline declared, it gave some number. Okay, so if you see this one, for this inline one, I was trying to do a inline declaration for side item minus 2. It did not work. So we need to be very careful while playing with such inline declaration. And the next and more important point which I want to discuss was table expressions like line exist or for or loop, whatever you are doing in the table expression of this ABAP 7.4. If a particular data does not exist in a table and you are trying to read it, or you are trying to loop through it, then it will give you a dump. So the question is how to handle such exceptions in ABAP 7.4. So it is simple. Always use try and end try. And if you think that there might be a case where there is no data, always use this catch cx underscore sci underscore itab underscore line underscore not underscore found. Let me show you the example. In our previous videos where we were playing around with the table operations, we used this example. So say we have populated a table with value and there is no risk here, okay, and then we are trying to read a line from li item, this out of these three, which one has risk as X. So if I try to read it, so I am expecting that I'll get the work in this worksheet, I'll get a value from li table or row which has X, but unfortunately for this data there is no X, and if I try to execute it, you'll get a dump. Check, we get a dump which says that psi items line not found. So this is the exception which we are finding. The row is not contained in the table. So in normal ABAP or before 7.4, if there was no row, so it will give a psi subversive 4 and it will come out, it will not dump. But in 7.4 we found that it dumps at that place. So at this spot it's showing this as a write statement, but actually it dumps in this statement where it's trying to read a line item li item with risk equal to X. So how to prevent this? So always use try and try. Okay, let me comment this guy and then let me uncomment this guy. So here what I try to do is the same thing, LX I am trying to do it, but before that I did a try, then I did a catch of this exception. If not found, give not found, and then end try. Okay, and then we are trying to write the line. So let's test it now. So in this case we got an output not found. So we knew that there was no entry in this table where the risk was X. So it caught the exception which says line item not found, and it wrote the message whatever we gave. We said not found, so it gave the message not found. So this simple try and try helps your program to prevent it from dumping in the real production system. So always use try and try when you are playing around with the new ABAP 7.4 syntax, especially the table operations where the data might be blank, where the data may not exist. So you need to be very careful and always use try and try.